got some really good mentors in your career as well on that journey. Chiefly, if we keep it in the Hoosier State, there is a school down south that we won't mention by name that has a really good soccer tradition. You are amongst its alums, and Jerry Yeagley, I have to imagine, has a special place in your heart.
Yeah, I mean, look, there's only one Jerry Yeagley, and I will say, if you ask, one of the biggest lessons I learned early in my coaching career is that I've been really fortunate, right, to play from extremely successful coaches, both collegiately, professionally, and made some of the mistakes early on of trying to maybe be more like them and failed miserably because I'm not them. And, I think the one thing that, talking with Coach and just being around him is that he just, it sounds kind of cliche, but he just kind of went about things the right way, right? He was such a throwback that he could demand respect in any room he walked into, but he never had to, and he never did, right? He was, they gave him that respect, and he never forced it upon people. So I think that there was such a subtleness to him that I think really showed a lot to me, because you would imagine someone who's been there, done what he has done, could kind of carry himself in a certain way, and it was never, again, never kind of pretentious. It was never forceful upon anybody. And so I think that there's naturally, for me, I'd like to think that's probably more of where I'm at. And I think that the respect that you gain from players is really just living out your life and being an example. And if you do that, I think players respond in a much better way. And so that's how I've tried to really carry myself throughout my career as a teammate, as a coach, is that, you go and you earn it every day, and you don't have to force it upon people. And obviously as a coach, though, there are going to be moments where you have to speak into situations, and that's okay as well, though. So it's not that you shy away from those things, but I don't think that every cause and every situation isn't one, as we'd say, it's not a hill to die on, right? And I think if you go about it the right way, players and people will respond in a positive manner.
You've had success pretty much everywhere you've been as well. You obviously played in a couple of college cups. You went to the NCAA tournament at Liberty. You went to the NCAA tournament at Mississippi State. You won a championship at Palm Beach Atlantic. This program has been on the cusp, it feels like, for the last couple of years, but just has not gotten over that final hump of getting into the NCAA tournament. What is the secret sauce that you can bring to this mix to help this program make that last step forward?
Oh, the secret sauce. I wish I knew. I do believe in a couple things, though, that it's a very unforgiving game, and as players, coaches, we've all been there where you've won games that you probably should have lost. You've lost games that you probably should have won. And it can be cruel at that, in those moments, but I do think the game rewards hard work, discipline, a certain amount of integrity with how you approach it, and so I think those are things, again, that they're just non-negotiables, right? We have to show up every day, and it's probably the biggest message to the girls is we've gone through this, and I talk to them, what are you excited about? And everyone talks about, hey, we want to make it to that last, we want to take that last step to get across the line and make an NCAA tournament, and really my reminder to them is that, like, great, but just because we've been so close before, nothing's guaranteed, and that we have to show up every day. And, some people will say sweat the details, and I think that while I agree in principle with that, they're not details because they're actually really important. Like, they're not little things, they're actually really big things. So they might seem maybe on the outside that people would look at and say, oh, these are just little things. Well, no. Those are actually the big things that make the difference. So how you train every day, your nutrition, your recovery, studies, right? Like, if you're disciplined in your studies, well, guess what? You're going to get more rest. You're going to have more free time to do other things. And if we're lackadaisical in even those areas, I promise you'll see it on the field that we'll take shortcuts elsewhere. And so there's no substitute for, again, just the hard work and doing it. I've been I said, you got to enjoy the process, because it's not always fun, but it's necessary. And at the end of the day, you'll look back and say, yeah, it was completely worth it.
Two personal questions for you before we let you go. The first of which is, born in Hawaii, right?
Yes.
From Texas, grew up in Texas. You've been working in the South recently. You started your career at TCU collegiately before finishing at IU. So what's it like to be back up north and have seasons again?
Yeah, I'm going to have to find a bigger winter coat. That's the one. No, you know what? We're excited. When we were in Virginia, you got the 4 seasons. And so I do think that while I'm unashamedly a warm weather person, there's something to be said. There's an appreciation for the 4 seasons, and to be right now where we're at, and I'm not just absolutely drenched in sweat, like, that's a very big positive.
Last thing, you've got short hair now. We found some pictures. We'll put them up. What do we have to do to get the flow back?
Oh man, get the flow back. I'm not gonna lie. When I'm recruiting a kid, I want their parents to feel comfortable that they can trust their their child with me. I don't know if the long hair quite gives off that impression, but Right now, it keeps growing back, which is a positive thing, as they get a little older. So probably not a ton of convincing. I'm all for it. I can commit to it. So is that maybe
if they go to the dance, can we
we make it to the dance, we'll start it growing.
It's
There
on
you go.
tape now,
You heard it
so.
here first. You heard it here first.